At some point, every stereo system needs high-end speaker cables, ones that are thick, high quality, with interesting geometry and technologies, and of course, made for audiophiles. I think I just described what the brown sugar BSSC95 series cables are like. Please leave a like and let's see what they are all about. Melodika offers lots of cable types for different devices, use cases, and of different series. The BSSC95 is their flagship speaker cable from the brown sugar series, or simply speaking, the best speaker cable they make. It is enough to pick it up to realize that it means serious business. It's super heavy, and that's for a simple reason. It's very thick, and the conductors are mostly what makes them so thick. I love this approach. It's basically figuring out what's the thickest speaker cable that is manageable in most systems, then putting a lot of copper inside. The aesthetical part is also there. One conductor is white and the other one is brown, as it's trying to mimic what brown sugar looks like. I enjoy it when the products are not boring. I also enjoy it when the company standing behind them likes to have some fun, either in the naming or the visual aspects of their devices. Or like in this case, both. The cable is finished off in a very premium way. It is made by hand using real, natural Italian leather. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you're watching this video so far. It's not using some crazy material like silver, gold or graphite as a conductor, rather regular but high purity OFC copper with 6N purity. It's also obtained from local mines. So why didn't they use, for example, silver? Firstly, it's not the tuning they were going for. Another reason regarding resistance or other parameters is that they didn't have to. Silver is around 7% more conductive than copper. But of course, you can achieve the same conductivity using 7% more copper. The latter approach is what they did. This cable has a 9.5mm square diameter per conductor, which in each cable there are 2 of. The last reason for not using pure silver is the price. Silver is extremely expensive compared to oxygen-free copper. The easiest way to greatly reduce self-interference, which is detrimental to sound quality, is to twist 2 conductors together. It's not rocket science. It's something known to science for many years. Yet I'm seeing a lot of manufacturers ignoring that. Sometimes it's the best approach to start from the simplest things. If you thought that this cable has a solid core, you would be mistaken. If you think it's a stranded wire, you're also wrong. It's a LITZ construction, the best of the best for avoiding skin effect, as every single strand is individually insulated and doesn't touch the one next to it. Solid grip technology is a fancy way of saying we don't use screw-in connectors, instead they are being pressed by a machine. That increases the contact area with the plug and doesn't introduce another element or material in the cable. The connectors are gold-plated bananas in my case, but this cable also comes in spades if it's something you prefer. The entire cable is also directional, which you shouldn't ignore or miss. The signal flow direction is written using small black text on the cable. You have to find it and connect it accordingly. Would you prefer directional cables or ones that are not, for convenience reasons? Let me know in the comments down below. The possible use cases of this flagship cable are wide. I like to by-wire my speakers, as I find it to improve the sound enough for it to be worth it. In that case, this cable is performing super well on the bottom, as it's very thick and low resistance, allowing the notes to be impactful and very well extended. At the same time, it's superb for the top end, mainly because of the LITZ construction and high purity. It shows lots of vocal clarity, intelligibility and textures. That makes this cable super universal and in some way, for a lot of people, defeats the need to use 2 different sets of cables. The bottom end is of course very impactful and dynamic. But what caught my attention is the sub-bass retrieval characteristics. My stereo setup with these cables feels like it goes just a few hertz lower and deeper than it used to. Or perhaps the very low end is boosted ever so slightly to increase the bass presence. yet it accomplishes it without affecting the tonal balance. It leaves the upper bass and the mid-range as it is, with some added weight. The detail retrieval is also up there with some of the better cables at this price point. I think that the treble has to do a lot with it, as it's super airy, open and articulate. The edge where the high frequencies are being cut off seems to be pushed a little higher. That way you can discover ever so slightly more than you otherwise would. Here's what I like the most: the soundstage. Cables themselves can't do much in terms of it, but this one definitely helps. I would say by around 5 to 7% compared to my regular cables. That's not a huge improvement, right? But you're not sacrificing anything to get it. The imaging is still razor sharp and doesn't take the slightest hit. Overall, this cable, while being somewhat expensive for some, gets my recommendation for its good objective performance due to the implemented technologies and good subjective performance that comes with my personal listening tests.